Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa Longo. Welcome to Everyday Rockstar Moms, where every episode I'll interview moms just like you who are rocking it in their homes, raising their children, managing their households, building their careers, working on their relationships, dealing with challenges, finding success, trying to find balance, and themselves along the way. Every episode, you'll hear from women just like you of all ages and stages of motherhood, sharing their stories, life experiences, and leaving you with practical tips, ideas, and inspiration to help you rock your life. Hello, Lauren. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I've known you for quite some time, but maybe you can start by just sharing with our listeners a little bit about who you are, what you're doing. You know, tell us about your little man who makes your heart grow every day.
Yeah, I'm a soon-to-be 27-year-old mother of a 5-year-old little boy who's amazing and almost as tall as me. I am an administrator at Walker Financial. It's a financing brokership for dealers across Canada. So it's a high-paced, extremely rewarding job, Monday to Friday for the first time in a long time. I have weekends off, and yeah, that's me.
Which is great for your son's new hockey life. Yes. It sounds like you've become a hockey mom recently.
Hockey and soccer, yep. It's a new transition right now with him because he has gone from just practices in Chips 1 to now games in Chips 2. So he's feeling the pressure for sure, but he has a huge support base, so he's liking it. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, life with a 5-year-old. Like, how has it been for the last 5 years with you, with motherhood, and what are some of the biggest things you've
It's
a
roller coaster. It's crazy. It's amazing. I definitely lucked out with him. He is extremely respectful. He's outgoing. He's super active. Getting him to concentrate on reading is always another trial in itself. But no, he's amazing. I'm super blessed to have someone that's him in my life for sure, and it's hectic going back and forth between his father and I, but we work it out. Co-parenting exists, and yeah, he's a rock star.
That's always refreshing to hear because a lot of families go through separations and changes, and a lot of parents are co-managing, and unfortunately we hear so many stories about people who are having such drama and difficulty around it, which isn't good for the kids either. Have there been anything particular that you have been able to work out that have made it easier?
We basically just work with the general rule of respect. So the same thing we teach Hudson, that's the general rule of respect, we also teach with each other. So at the end of the day, we're there for Hudson, and our problems don't matter. We created something amazing, and we have to sustain that, and we have to worry about what's best for him. So, no, we've always been able to stay out of the court system. We've always balanced with each other's schedules, and we've been a support to ourselves and each other and for him. So it's really good, and I think that reflects in Hudson's attitude and mannerisms. He doesn't grow up with fighting, so it's wonderful. It's better to have 2 happy homes than 1 unhappy one. So.
Absolutely. Let's face it, we could all learn to be more respectful. Right, and to have it as a high value in even, people that are still together. And I think, sure, that we can look at the temperament and the genetics that have come together to create your son. But I always remind moms, luck is one thing, but you've worked really hard to create the environment and to help him be the best little boy possible. So don't forget to give yourself some credit for having such a sweet, solid little guy. Because you, especially, with you and your ex, you've worked hard to make that.
Oh, for sure. It's been a delicate balance, but it's something we cherish, so that's a good thing. I just stay calm for the most part.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so many moms face so many times of challenge every day, not to mention when there's life-changing events. But do you have anything that really grounds you in times of stress, like you just said stay calm, but what helps you stay calm?
Oh, goodness. Support systems, for sure, between wonderful parents and sisters and friends that also have children. And my coworkers are a great support as well. They all have young families. I think you just have to take a step back and breathe and realize, is this something that matters, or is this something that will brush off and tomorrow's a new day? So things that are in my control, I work really hard to sustain. But if he's going to have his one and only massive tantrum at the G&E because the derby's over, then I'm just going to take that moment, breathe it through, and move on because it's temporary. So yeah, just thinking of things as temporary and what we want to last. And
yeah, and sometimes what can be helpful is thinking about, is this going to matter in 5 years?
Exactly.
And toddlers are toddlers. I mean, they're full of emotion and lots of fun too. So it sounds like you've got a great support group and connection with other people.
Yes.
Are there other things that you do to support Lauren? Things that you make a priority in your own life?
Recently the priority has been health for sure. I've always kind of put myself at the wayside. I've worked 2 jobs since Hudson's been born, averaging 6 to 7 days a week, always, for years. Nobody should work that much. And I think I realized that I was losing time with him. So this year I cut down to 1 job, Monday to Friday. I've spent weekends. I've been able to go to the gym. I just finished a detox where now I've lost weight and I feel good and I'm realizing what reacts to my body. And I think it's just taking a minute to sit down and make a list and make sure the things on that to-do list get done. And in that organization, it clears my mind and grounds me. So,
was there something that triggered that for you? Did you have a point where you just went, this is no good, I need to make a change? Or was it a gradual unsettling feeling that you had?
No, I think it was a point where I was engaged and I realized I should be more excited about my happiness, and I can't feel the fulfillment of happiness when I'm not proud of where I am, and I should be proud of where I am. So taking a step back and making sure I'm the focus as well as Hudson, it took time, but now it's there and I feel good, and life is rewarding when you reward yourself. So
yeah, and you're not unlike so many moms who put themselves last, right? And let's face it, some days are like that. Some days everyone else seems to need something and you can't take care of yourself. But I'm always trying to remind moms that, if you go down, your family goes down.
Yeah.
So, it's like putting that oxygen mask on you first and taking care of your own personal health. It allows us to be better moms and better friends and daughters and partners. So I think, you need to be commended for your courage, right? In taking a step back and looking at what's working in your life and what things you wanted to change, right? Yeah. A lot of people can learn from that for sure. Mm-hmm. So when you've had times of challenge, have you had times of challenge with your parenting? Because so many moms have opinions, right? About, and dads too, and strangers even, about how you should be running your life or parenting. Have you ever had any difficulties in that sense?
Oh, I think everybody has. The main thing was just making sure I was there, not just financially for him, but physically. So when I was working the 2 jobs, I was missing soccer games. I missed a hockey award ceremony because part of the other job was serving. Mm-hmm. And in the service industry, like, you're there, you're not, you're a number, it doesn't matter, and they don't care if your son has an award system. So
right, and if you're not there, you're not making money either.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a big eye-opener too was in the summer I had to work 22 days straight, and Hudson went up to Adam, his father, and said, I just want a weekend with Mom. And he, even though he was in my custody for the weekend, I wasn't there. He was with my parents, which he loves them anyways, but it's good, just quality one-on-one time that I realized I was missing out on. And if he's the only one I'm going to have, then that has to matter. So I put it first, and yeah.
And you know what? From what I have observed recently, you've certainly been rewarded with that too, right?
Oh,
yeah. So much of our parenting, the kids give us back if you just put some of the energy in. And certainly kids need a lot of, they need their basic needs met. Their food, their sleep needs to be taken care of. They need clothes, they need shelter. But what they often want the most from us is exactly what you just said, is they want our time. Yeah. And oftentimes as mothers, we're so rushed.
Oh,
and so I think it's amazing that you've transformed things for yourself and really focused on because you focused on what you wanted.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to other women who might be listening to this that are, maybe they're engaged, maybe they're in a marriage that they're not feeling happy, maybe they're in a job they're not feeling happy, Maybe there's all of those things, but how did you get started, or what was really the motivation for you to make some changes for yourself? I know you just said it was about you missed time with Hudson, but a lot of people are going to hear this and they say, "Well, she did it, but maybe I don't think I could do that."
I just had to look at Hudson and think, what would I want of you? And all I would want is his happiness and his time. Mm-hmm. And that sounds simple, but you need to prioritize making that of yourself. So if you want more time with your son or daughter, make it happen. If it's half an hour a day, it doesn't matter. It's quality. Mm-hmm. Make every minute that you're dedicating quality, rather than think, oh, I'll just take him to the zoo because he'll have that one moment in his memory. Well, no, maybe just sit down and have a conversation. That will last longer.
Yeah. 10 minutes with a 5-year-old is a lot of attention for them.
And don't give up. If they have a day where they are being a jerk and you can't handle it, just take a breather and realize this day is one day in 100 days, and you're not going to get it right every time. I've spent years of not getting it right, and I still won't get it right every time. But the days you do, and the days they look at you and just smile and are just happy, that's all you need.
They make it worth it.
It's worth it, yeah.
So many times people have really great influences in their life. Has anyone come to mind for you as far as the kind of mother you are right now?
Oh, my mom, for sure. She's everything. She, growing up, was just there no matter what. A lot of mental health days away from school, which I shouldn't condone, but I loved and appreciated. We never grew up with a ton, but I was never questioning my parents' love for me and the time they put aside for me. Like Dad, he's the reason why I love nature and got me outside every weekend, and our family hikes, and my love of food is from my mom, and just general respect and generosity. Like they would give anything to anyone, and they kind of adopt everyone as well. And I think I need to really focus in on that type of unconditional love for everyone in my life, not just for Hudson, but they're definitely my two greatest influences for sure.
I love it. So you're working full time. You've got a son, full time, or shared custody. But what do you do just for Lauren? What gives you the most joy these days?
Hiking for sure. Getting outside and breathing the leaves right now is amazing. As well as just general cooking. It's always been a therapy for me. I also love literature, so sitting down and having peppermint tea at the end of a day that's been extremely stressful is always good. And I have a lot of great friends in my life that I value their conversations, and that's kind of when I take time for myself and be with people that genuinely want to listen to what I have to say, and I'm thankful for those moments. Yeah.
You make time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So has motherhood been what you expected it to be?
Do we have expectations?
Some people do.
Yeah, no, I think I had Hudson fairly young, just turning 22, so I think it was fight or flight for the first year and a half, just realizing this new person that you have become and adapting accordingly. It's gotten better, so much better. Like just seeing him grow and seeing reflections of yourself in another person, and just knowing that no matter what, like everything's for them. So did I expect when I had this little thing in my arms after the most painful experience of my life, that I don't know you, but I would die for you? No one can expect that feeling, but the fact that it continues to this day and will continue forever, it's
Yeah, it just changes, you know, as you know, my sons are 10 and 14, and I look at the toddlers and the babies and the school age kids. I'm like, oh, they're so fun. But every year just changes, and
every year's fun.
You get every stage of parenting is unique and brings its own rewards and challenges, and you know, that love just continues to grow as they get older. You get to watch them become these little people who have their own interests and opinions, and it's a ton of fun.
I do wish he loved school more. I was always on the student council. I was always crazy school oriented, and he would just rather play with a soccer ball all day. So obviously I wish he'd be a little more enthused, but other than that, no complaints.
He's got some time. I'm all for those mental health days too. You know, I mean, we forget sometimes that children get so much from connected time with their loved ones, with free time to play and explore their world. Play is powerful for children as far as helping them learn how to problem solve and how to negotiate and how to be imaginative.
Negotiation is key.
People, you know, play is not something that should be taken lightly. I mean, it's physical, especially physical play for boys. So, you know, you're doing so many great things. If you were to roll back your life and give yourself advice, anything that comes to mind, like, as you know, you're so wise for 27 years. I mean, that's all that keeps coming to mind for me right now. But if there would be something that you would look back and say, God, I wish I knew that when I was younger as a mom.
Ooh, I would just think back and try and remember that it goes quick. Everybody says that, but it goes so quick. And it's not going to matter if your friend's child is potty trained before yours. It isn't going to matter if they say their first word before yours. Try and document as much as you can, because those first years are a blur, and you'll miss out for sure. Just slow it down, take your moments, enjoy that 10-minute conversation or that 10-minute giggle. You can be 10 minutes late. It doesn't matter. And I think a lot of his life, I was worried about a schedule or different expectations that need to be met, especially with social influences. There's a lot of pressure on women and a lot of skepticism if you're working, and always being that mom on the go, which I continuously have been for his entire life. And I think it's just take a breather and put you and your child first.
And do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Because what's right for you and your son might be different for someone else based on their own unique set of circumstances. And I think, you know, mom shaming and judgment of other women, you know, has got to go. What we need is more connection and support and understanding and empathy, that every woman's experience is unique. And if we can help each other, that's always a better situation than trying to attack each other.
For sure.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed our conversation today. I know you do have to get back to work. Any
Story of my life.
any final thoughts?
No, I'm just thankful that you appreciate and other people kind of see how I'm raising my son, and I just think it's fairly organic, and I love that I can be a positive influence on someone else's life as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big reason why I wanted to start this podcast. Is I see moms every day in the practice here who are feeling overwhelmed or feeling like maybe they're missing something, or as you said earlier, you know, they're comparing their son's, you know, potty training to someone else, or when they're speaking, and they're feeling hard on themselves. And it's more about lifting each other up and acknowledging that we're all doing a lot of the same things. A lot of moms have the same struggles with themselves and with their children, and it's enlightening and inspiring to chat with other everyday moms who are just rocking it and making choices. And I think, as I said earlier, for you, you know, you've made such huge improvements for your health, for your well-being, but you've made it a priority for you. Yeah. And if that's one nugget that moms take today, you know, don't forget about you.
100%.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Lauren.
Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
There you have it, a great story today from a mom who rocks. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Be sure to head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. When you do that, I'll be sending you a copy of my top 10 tips for moms. These are some of my personal and practical strategies I believe that as women we can all benefit from and help us be emotionally and physically as healthy as we can be. When you're also there on iTunes, I would also love it if you left a review. It's really important to leave some reviews because that helps other people find the podcast, and it helps inspire them to listen and potentially gain some insight from the podcast. Tell other moms that you know would benefit from this show, or most certainly nominate them and let me know who you think I should be interviewing. I'd love for you to connect with us on Facebook as well. Head on over to Everyday Rockstar Mom and join our community there. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.